The quantum whisper. The soft hum of quantum sensors filled the sterile research chamber, a symphony of technological marvel that Dr. Marcus Holloway had dedicated his entire career to understanding. Outside the reinforced windows of the International Deep Space Research Station horizon, the endless black of space stretched infinitely, holding secrets beyond human comprehension. Marcus adjusted his neural interface, the delicate neural threads connecting seamlessly with the station's advanced monitoring systems. Something had been brewing in the data streams for weeks, subtle anomalies that most researchers would have dismissed as computational noise. But Marcus knew better. Dr. Holloway called out Dr. Rachel Nkosi, his lead research assistant. The quantum correlation matrix is showing unprecedented fluctuations. Her fingers danced across holographic displays, projecting intricate patterns of energy signatures that seemed to pulse with an almost living quality. Marcus leaned closer, his sharp green eyes narrowing. The signal wasn't random. It carried a mathematical precision that suggested intelligence, deliberate communication rather than natural cosmic radiation. "Isolate the frequency," he commanded, his voice calm but laden with anticipation. The station's quantum computers began processing the data, breaking down complex wave patterns into comprehensible sequences. What emerged was unlike anything they had ever encountered. Mathematical equations that seemed to fold upon themselves, creating multidimensional patterns that defied traditional understanding of physics. "It's a message," Marcus whispered, more to himself than to Rachel. "But not like any message we've seen before." The quantum signal originated from a region of space approximately 3.7 billion light-years away, a distance that would typically render communication impossible. Yet here it was, a coherent stream of information that seemed to transcend the conventional limitations of spacetime. Dr. Elena Martinez, the station's chief communications specialist, entered the lab with a look of controlled excitement. "We've cross-referenced the signal with our deep space archives. There's nothing in our database that matches these parameters." Marcus ran his hand through his salt and pepper hair, a nervous habit developed over years of groundbreaking research. "This isn't just a random transmission. It's structured. Intentional. Someone, or something, is trying to communicate." The station's advanced tracking systems began to register additional anomalies. Quantum entanglement points were shifting, creating intricate networks that seemed to form a complex communication grid. It was as if an invisible framework was being constructed right before their eyes. "The signal is modulating," Rachel reported, her voice a mixture of scientific detachment and underlying excitement. "It's adapting, changing its frequency in response to our attempts to decode it." Marcus understood the implications immediately. This wasn't a simple transmission. It was an interactive communication system that was learning, evaluating, responding to their analysis in real time. Suddenly, the station's primary quantum display erupted with a burst of complex geometric patterns, a visual representation of the incoming signal that seemed to breathe and pulse with an almost organic rhythm. Mathematical sequences intertwined, creating a language that existed beyond human linguistic constraints. "It's a test," Marcus realized, his voice cutting through the technological hum of the research chamber. "Whatever is sending this signal is evaluating us. Measuring our capacity to understand." The implications were staggering. Humanity was being examined by an intelligence so advanced that it could communicate through the very fabric of quantum mechanics. This was first contact, but not in any way they had ever imagined. As the quantum signals continued to dance across their screens, Dr. Marcus Holloway knew that everything was about to change. The universe had just sent them a message, and humanity was being called to respond. The cosmic sentinel was watching. And the evaluation had begun. The celestial barrier. The Orbital Defense Command Center hummed with a tension that Admiral Victor Reyes could feel vibrating through the reinforced walls. Banks of holographic displays showed multiple tracking systems, each one flickering with unprecedented activity. Something was changing in the vast expanse beyond Earth's atmosphere. "Incoming unidentified fleet," Lieutenant Garrett Wong announced, his fingers dancing across the quantum-enhanced tracking interface. Configuration unlike anything in our databases. Victor studied the displays, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. 27 alien vessels had just materialized at the edge of Earth's orbital perimeter, massive constructs that seemed to shimmer between solid matter and pure energy. They weren't approaching aggressively. They were observing. Maintain passive scanning, Victor commanded. No active weapon systems. We're not here to provoke. The alien fleet represented something entirely different from previous encounters. These weren't ships designed for conventional warfare. Their very structure suggested a technology so advanced it bordered on the incomprehensible, geometric patterns that seemed to shift and breathe, whole designs that defied traditional understanding of spacecraft engineering. Dr. Imani Okeke, the command center's lead xenotechnology analyst, approached Victor with a digital tablet displaying complex mathematical analyses. "Sir, these ships, they're not just technological constructs. They're behaving like living systems. Every movement, every energy signature suggests an intelligence far beyond mechanical operation." Before Victor could respond, something extraordinary happened. A wave of azure light rippled across the display, not from the alien vessels, but seemingly emanating from Earth itself. The alien fleet began to waver, becoming translucent. "They're disappearing," Garrett reported, his voice a mixture of professional calm and barely contained excitement. "But our sensors are tracking something different this time." Victor leaned closer. The alien vessels weren't being destroyed. They were being redirected. Shifted through some form of spatial manipulation that current human technology couldn't comprehend. "It's like they're being evaluated," Dr. Okeke muttered, more to herself than to anyone else. "Tested by some kind of planetary defense mechanism we don't understand." The command center erupted with activity as data streams flooded their systems. Mathematical sequences, geometric patterns, and quantum signatures that suggested a complex communication network far more advanced than anything humanity had ever conceived. Victor remembered his briefing from Dr. Marcus Holloway about the quantum signals. This was connected. This wasn't just a random encounter, it was a deliberate interaction. "Compile all data," he ordered. "I want every single detail analyzed. Whatever is protecting our planet isn't just a defensive system. It's intelligent. It's selective." As the alien fleet completely vanished, leaving behind nothing but a cascade of complex energy signatures, Victor realized they were standing at the threshold of humanity's greatest discovery. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a node in a cosmic network far more complex than anyone had ever imagined. The celestial barrier had revealed itself. And humanity was about to learn its true purpose. Lieutenant Wong's console suddenly sparked to life with an unexpected transmission. A series of mathematical sequences began to stream across the screen, a message, or perhaps a test, from whatever intelligence had just redirected the alien fleet. Victor Reyes watched the symbols dance across the display. Somewhere in those intricate patterns lay the key to understanding humanity's place in a universe far more mysterious than they had ever dreamed. The evaluation had begun. And Earth was being judged. Threads of ancient technology. The underground research facility carved deep into the Siberian permafrost hummed with a quiet intensity. Dr. Nadia Volkov carefully manipulated a holographic interface, her breath creating small clouds in the carefully controlled environment. Layers of crystalline structures rotated before her eyes, artifacts that defied every conventional understanding of archaeological science. "These aren't just geological formations," she muttered to her research partner, Dr. Henrik Larsson. "They're engineered. Manufactured with a precision that makes our most advanced nanotechnology look like child's play." The artifacts had been discovered during a deep-core geological survey, impossibly preserved structures embedded within rock layers dating back over 100 million years. Each crystal seemed to pulse with an internal energy, creating intricate geometric patterns that shifted and realigned when exposed to specific quantum frequencies. Henrik adjusted his protective gear, carefully analyzing the spectral readings. The molecular structure is unlike anything in our periodic table. These crystals are conducting energy in a way that shouldn't be possible. They're not just storing information, they're processing it. Nadia's fingers traced the delicate surface of the primary artifact, a lattice-like structure approximately the size of a human palm. Embedded within its translucent matrix were microscopic networks that seemed to respond to her very proximity. Each time she moved closer, subtle vibrations rippled through the crystal. "It's like a living technology," she whispered. "Not organic in the way we understand life, but something entirely different. A form of intelligence that exists beyond our current comprehension." The research facility had been converted into a high-security containment and analysis center after the initial discovery. Global defense organizations, scientific institutions, and quantum research teams had converged to unlock the secrets of these mysterious artifacts. A series of quantum scanners began to activate spontaneously. The crystals were resonating with something, a distant signal that seemed to originate from beyond Earth's immediate space. "We're receiving a transmission," Henrik called out, his voice a mixture of excitement and scientific reservation. "But it's not coming through our communication systems. The crystals themselves are acting as the receiver." Holographic displays erupted with complex mathematical sequences, similar to the quantum signals Dr. Marcus Holloway had detected weeks earlier. But here, in the depths of the Siberian research facility, the patterns were more pronounced, more deliberate. Nadia realized they were looking at something far more significant than mere technological artifacts. These were components of a planetary defense network, a system so advanced it had been protecting Earth long before human civilization even emerged. "These crystals are nodes," she explained, her mind racing to connect the emerging patterns. "They form a global network, drawing energy from the planet's core. Every time an alien civilization approaches, this system activates. It's not just a defensive mechanism, it's a testing ground." The implications were staggering. Earth wasn't just a random planet in the cosmic landscape. It was a carefully prepared location, engineered by an intelligence so advanced it could manipulate planetary systems over millions of years. As the crystals continued to pulse and communicate, Nadia understood they were witnessing the early stages of humanity's greatest discovery. Something had been watching, waiting, preparing Earth for a role far beyond their current understanding. A final burst of energy swept through the research facility. The crystals aligned in a perfect geometric formation, creating a three-dimensional star map that seemed to show a vast network of similar defense systems scattered across the galaxy. "We're not alone," Henrik muttered. "And we're certainly not the first." Nadia Volkov stared at the holographic display, understanding that humanity was about to be evaluated. And the test had already begun. The Galactic Evaluation. The experimental research vessel, Pathfinder, glided through the darkness of space, its quantum-adaptive hull shimmering with technologies developed from the crystalline artifacts discovered on Earth. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the holographic displays that mapped their unprecedented journey into the unknown. "Quantum signature stabilizing," Lieutenant Raj Mehta announced from the navigation console. "We're approaching the coordinates identified by Dr. Volkov's research team." The mission was unlike any previous space exploration endeavor. After the discoveries of the mysterious defense network and quantum communication systems, Earth's scientific community had assembled a team of the most brilliant minds to make first meaningful contact with the cosmic intelligence that had been watching humanity. Elena felt the weight of responsibility. They weren't just explorers, they were humanity's first true ambassadors to a universe far more complex than anyone had imagined. Detecting unusual energy fluctuations, called out Dr. Winston Clark, the vessel's lead quantum physicist. His fingers danced across multiple interfaces, tracking patterns that seemed to shift and change with each passing moment. "The space around us is responding to our presence." It wasn't metaphorical. The very fabric of space appeared to be alive with intelligence. Quantum threads of energy began to weave around the Pathfinder, creating intricate geometric patterns that seemed to pulse with purpose. Suddenly, the ship's communication systems erupted with a burst of mathematical sequences. Unlike previous transmissions, this felt different, more direct, more intentional. "It's testing us," Elena realized, her voice cutting through the tension on the bridge. "Every movement, every response is being evaluated." A massive holographic display materialized in the center of the bridge, a three-dimensional star map that showed an interconnected network of defense systems similar to Earth's. But these weren't just static points. They were alive, communicating, evaluating potential civilizations. Dr. Clark's analysis revealed the true nature of their encounter. "These aren't just technological systems," he explained. "They're a galactic evaluation network. Each defense grid is a node that tests emerging civilizations, determining their readiness to join a larger cosmic community." The Pathfinder began to experience strange quantum interactions. The ship itself seemed to become transparent, its systems merging momentarily with the cosmic communication network. Elena watched in awe as the vessel's quantum computers began processing information at speeds that defied human comprehension. "We're being scanned," Raj reported, his voice a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "Not just our technology, our collective potential as a species." Images began to flood the ship's displays, snapshots of human achievements, scientific breakthroughs, moments of cooperation, and instances of remarkable resilience. It was as if the cosmic intelligence was reviewing humanity's entire history in a matter of moments. Elena understood now. This wasn't an invasion. It was an invitation. A test to determine whether humanity was ready to become part of something far greater than their individual planetary existence. The ship's quantum field began to resonate with the cosmic network. Complex mathematical sequences danced across the displays, creating a language that transcended words, a communication of pure potential and possibility. "Transmission incoming," Winston called out. The message was simple yet profound: evaluation in progress. Potential, promising. As the Pathfinder continued its journey, Elena Rodriguez knew they were witnessing the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure. The universe was watching. And humanity was about to prove its worth. Guardians of the Threshold. The Global Unified Command Center became the epicenter of humanity's most significant moment. Dr. Marcus Holloway and Admiral Victor Reyes stood side by side, watching as the data from the Pathfinder's mission converged with the crystalline artifact research and orbital defense observations. "It's all connected," Marcus murmured, holographic displays spinning with intricate cosmic networks. "We're not just being evaluated. We're being prepared." Transmissions from the cosmic intelligence continued to stream in, not as threats, but as complex invitations. The defense grid that had protected Earth for millions of years was revealing its true purpose. Humanity was being inducted into a galactic community far more sophisticated than anyone had imagined. Dr. Nadia Volkov's research on the ancient crystals now made complete sense. The artifacts weren't just defensive mechanisms, they were communication nodes, educational systems designed to elevate emerging civilizations. The test was never about military might, Admiral Reyes explained to the assembled global leaders. It was about potential. Our capacity for cooperation, scientific discovery, and collective growth. The cosmic network had been watching humanity's development for millennia. Wars, scientific breakthroughs, moments of global cooperation, each had been carefully analyzed. The recent alien fleet encounters were nothing more than final assessments, probing humanity's readiness. A final transmission came through, decoded by the most advanced quantum computers on the planet. The message was both a welcome and a challenge. Species, human. Status, potential guardians. Next phase, initiated. The holographic displays erupted with a three-dimensional star map, revealing a vast network of planetary defense systems. Earth was no longer an isolated world, it was a node in a cosmic communication network that spanned galaxies. "We're being invited to something bigger," Marcus told the assembled team. "Not as conquerors. Not as conquered. But as participants in a universal system of growth and understanding." The implications were staggering. Humanity would now have access to technologies and knowledge that had been hidden for millions of years. The crystalline defense grid would transform from a protective barrier to a gateway of cosmic knowledge. Admiral Reyes looked at Marcus, a smile breaking through his typically stern demeanor. "From being protected to becoming protectors," he said. The cosmic sentinel had been watching. And humanity had passed the test. As news spread across the globe, people looked to the stars with a new understanding. They were not alone. They were not insignificant. They were part of something much larger, a cosmic community waiting to be explored. The first phase of humanity's greatest adventure was complete. The next phase was about to begin.